That's right. This last weekend, we were blessed to take a little bit of a long weekend visit out to the Walt Disney World Resort to experience one of our favorite times of year. Of course, we're talking about the holiday season out at the most magical place on earth, right, Michelle?
Yes, I mean, obviously, with all the festivities that they have to offer, that's great. It's also a cooler time of the year, so for Florida, that's really a more pleasant time as
Although it
well.
wasn't, well, not so much on Monday, but on Saturday and Sunday, not that it was hot, but it was pushing up closer to 80 on those
Right.
days. It was a little warm,
Yeah.
and a little humid, a little sticky on those
Right.
days.
And it's kind of unseasonally, but at least it wasn't like in the middle of the
No,
summertime where you're just melting out there. So that's always good too. And Scott really enjoys it and enjoys the vibes there. So yeah, it was great.
yeah, and we were running out of time for us. Our annual passes are blocked out for some of the days coming up
Mhm.
in the future, and Scott's even more so than ours
Right.
at this
Yes.
point. Although we're thinking about possibly upgrading him to give him a few more days next year, but we'll talk about that at some point. But yeah, so this was really kind of our last weekend
Hmm.
that we could do this, and I think we've ran into that. This is the last weekend for a lot of people out there. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but it was a great time. We didn't go crazy with it.
Hmm.
We did kind of a laid back, relaxed vibe, but it was all good. Very, very holiday, very festive, very festive. Really enjoyed it. So our weekend ran from Saturday, December 13th, 2025 through Monday, December 15th, 2025. We're staying Saturday and Sunday nights out of Bay Lake Tower,
Hmm.
which is our Scott's favorite spot,
Yes.
but
Yes.
also one of ours favorite spots as well. So we left Saturday morning after some struggles of getting somebody in this household moving a little bit.
What?
That was me.
Yeah.
No,
No.
Scott's not always he moves at his own pace. And that's good. That's good. But we did get out there kind of mid-morning and parked over at Bay Lake Towers.
Mhm.
And we decided this would be a great day to hit up the Magic Kingdom and hit up their decor, right, Michelle?
Yes. I don't think you've had a chance to go out there this year for the holiday season. Scott and I did spend a little bit of time there, but it's always great to go back. So it was fun to get a chance to go back out there and see, uh, like the holiday decorations. But I think the closer you get to the holidays, it just seems like, I don't know, maybe it's just more alertness to it, but more music is playing and just more excitement about the holidays.
The Magic Kingdom, I mean, every park has its own great way of doing their decorations and their holiday decor and the holiday festive feelings. But there's something special about Magic Kingdom.
Mhm.
Walking down Main Street, USA, and seeing those decorations, just gorgeous. The tree is phenomenal. The train station decorated, up the lampposts up and down Main Street, USA.
Nothing like it.
It's amazing. It's perfect. And it does make my holiday season. Whether or not Magic Kingdom is my favorite park, I do love a lot of things about Magic Kingdom, but it's probably not the park that I'm going to visit for most days, usually because it's fairly crowded there. And this was no different, but it's all good. But the decor, that calls me. I need to see the Magic Kingdom decor to make my holiday season for sure.
Agreed. I mean, I'm the same way with you, except for in the evenings. I think Magic Kingdom at night is
Mhm.
spectacular
Mhm.
looking. I think the way the lights, glimmer there is magical, and it just a lot of nostalgia
Mhm.
associated with it. So I would say there's a difference there in the daytime versus nighttime. Both are great, but different.
Yeah, I think that's one thing we missed out on in this trip was
Hmm.
we never really visited the parks in the evenings, which are some of the best times. But
Hmm.
it was, it's always predicated by one how we're feeling, but also how Scott is feeling and
Hmm.
what he is willing to do and what he wants to accomplish on those days. And so the nights just didn't work in with us, but we had a great time visiting during the day.
Yeah, and Scott and I did do some night things that you didn't do, but
That's true.
yeah.
You
So
did. You did
yeah.
because I'm a lazy slug.
No, you're early bird.
That's right. I'm very much an early bird. There's no question about that. Yeah. So we checked out a lot of the Magic Kingdom decor. We did go on a couple of Scott's favorite attractions, including Winnie the Pooh. And yes, the Tomorrowland Speedway. We did have a good, he loves it. He just lights up on the
Yes.
Tomorrowland Speedway. I have a video. I don't know if I'm going to post it at some point. I videoed the pretty much the entire trip around the
Mhm.
Tomorrowland Speedway with the two of us there, and he just loves the heck. Even when
Yeah.
he's not in the greatest of moods, like that brightens up his spirits.
Yeah, it really turns things around for him. I mean, he loves to be in control. I mean, he's not the one, with the foot on the gas, but he does love it. But he also finds it very hysterical when he doesn't turn the wheel
Oh
correctly
yeah,
and
he rarely
bumps.
turns the wheel
I
well.
know, I know. He's usually laughing so hard that he's not really
Right.
paying attention to the direction that he's going. But no, it is really fun. There's something very warm about watching him ride on
Mhm.
the Tomorrowland Speedway for sure, and that was no different that day.
Speaking of very warm, it was getting a little toasty out there. So we decided, hey, maybe it's a great time to stop over at the Plaza Ice Cream Shop,
Mhm.
one of our favorite spots to hit up whenever we're in Magic Kingdom, and pick up a little ice cream. So we picked up the gingerbread shake there, which is the
Mhm.
seasonal specialty drink going on there, and a sundae for Scott. And for those of you on YouTube, you can see he was pretty happy about getting a sundae.
Yeah.
Although I think he liked the shake more than the sundae because the
Right.
way the sundae was served, it was served a little odd. It almost
Yes.
looked like a shake, but it was ice cream, and he was struggling with that. So we kind of ended up trading. We tried some of the gingerbread shake and then gave that to him, and then we took over the ice cream after that.
Yeah, I mean, typically, we get the brownie sundae,
Hmm.
and so that's served like in a shallow bowl with the brownie and then the ice cream on top and the other accompaniments with it. This time we didn't do the brownie because we knew we were going to be getting some other treats and things like that. So we just got an ice cream sundae. And I don't know if that's what they typically do or just that day, but they served it in a cup, like similar, if you're watching on YouTube, similar to the cup that the shake came in. And so like I can see where he was confused. Like,
Yeah,
here's
absolutely.
a cup of ice cream. Oh, this must be a milkshake. And it was hard. We were trying to show him, but the other thing too is he likes the vanilla over the other. I think we had the mint chocolate chip, and that was the vanilla was at the bottom. So he was, you could just tell it was just a little
It was yeah. I bet he didn't like it, but
right,
he did get some of it. He had some of it to begin with.
right,
We gave him the shake. We had some of the ice cream, and then we gave it back to him, and he finished off the ice cream. We also got a big old hot dog from Casey's Corner
right.
with some fries, and we split that between the three of us. And it was a nice little. It's hard to say like a hot dog and ice
Right.
cream is a light
Light.
meal, but it was kind of a light meal for us. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I have to say, I know we're saying how that Scott was, not so much thrilled with the way the ice cream sundae came. I don't know that I would do that again or I'd at
No.
least ask because I also like if you're getting two different types of ice cream to be able to kind of taste each one as you're going, not just all of one and all of the other. So,
Yeah, the only reason I can think that they do that, assuming this wasn't a one-off, because we never gotten that
right.
Sunday before, so it's the first time we experienced it. Is if they were trying to kind of make it like if you think of those long Sunday glasses, that
Mhm.
they're lengthy, and
Right.
if they were trying to kind of make it similar to that. That is my only thinking and why
Right.
they served it like that. But normally, like the brownie sundae, which we get, is more in a bowl,
Yeah, it's
which is
perfect.
easier for all of us to eat, and especially Scott
Right.
understands it. But what did you think about the gingerbread shake that they're
I
serving?
thought it was good. It wasn't like the wow, but I thought it was tasty and had nice consistency. It was rich flavor. I mean, rich ice cream flavor. I'm not sure I got as much of the gingerbread, but I'm a big gingerbread fan. So,
Mhm.
I mean, they could really pile on the flavoring and I would be fine with that.
Yeah, we used to get a gingerbread shake in Disneyland that we just loved, like love,
Yes.
love, loved. It was phenomenal. It had like a caramel drizzle in it, and it was so good. It was good. It was
Mhm.
a good milkshake. And it did taste like ginger in vanilla ice cream. It did taste
Mhm.
like that, but I don't know if I tasted like gingerbread
Right,
to
right.
me. Like it
Yes.
could have used some more gingerbready
Right.
things,
True.
but still enjoyed it. It was
Yep.
still delicious. Just not exactly what we were expecting there,
Yeah. And that's only offered seasonally, so
mhm,
it's not something you can get
but
year
maybe just
round,
for
but
the knowledge, if you're going here in the next couple of weeks, or if you're visiting next year and they
Mhm.
offer something similar, just know that some of these things, yes, we're talking about things that we're wrapping up the
Right.
holiday season, but that doesn't mean some of these things will be possibly available for you next year as well.
Right, right.
Right.
Yes.
So we enjoyed that. And then the crowds were picking up. We went and took some pictures in front of the castle, which Scott was actually really, really good. You never know with him with pictures. This time, for those of you on YouTube, you can see his hand there. That's always the challenge with trying to get a selfie with him, is that he wants to wave to the camera. And a lot of times he waves and it's right in front of his face.
Right.
We're able to capture a couple shots where we got some good smiles from him as well. And that was good.
Yeah, I do want to mention one of the things I was happy to see at the Magic Kingdom is, obviously their great photo pass opportunities. And if you're talking about that area by the ice cream shop, they actually have like one of those little booths set up that you can go in that has like a cutout. It looks like a postcard. It's great location to get like a family photo there, or for your if you do holiday cards or something like that. It's really great. They have photo pass there, but they also have a lot of great magic shots throughout the park, and so it's always great there. And I know, are we going to be talking about going to the resorts? Because I'd like to talk a little bit about.
We didn't visit the resorts as much as we thought we would, but
yeah, I was going to talk a little bit about photo op there too. But
we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So took some pictures there, but then, as you can see, for those of you on YouTube, it was starting to get crowded. Magic Kingdom. We also found out that our resort room was ready. We're like, okay, let's get our stuff into our resort room. Bay Lake Towers, right next to Magic Kingdom, so convenient. So we went ahead and head back and took in our room, grabbed our many things that we bring for a 3-day stay, but all comes in handy. But we grabbed all our stuff, and then we just kind of relaxed for a little bit. Let Scott relax for a little bit. Let us relax a little bit. One thing we noticed, and we mentioned the crowds at Magic Kingdom. Well, that wasn't the only place with crowds on this day. Again, I think that there were a lot of people that realized their annual passes weren't going to be available for them on the weekends in the very near future. So we're going to take advantage of this weekend because there were a lot of crowds everywhere. One thing when we got to the Contemporary on our way to Bay Lake Tower, we noticed is the amazing gingerbread castle that they have there. Now, I don't recall them doing this. They've always had a gingerbread house at the Contemporary, but I don't remember it being so amazing as this one. I mean, it's always been kind of like, oh yeah, there's the gingerbread. It's cool. They're selling some gingerbread stuff there. It's fine. It's great. This was phenomenal. And believe me, people were lined up to get a picture with this thing because it is gorgeous. It is one of my favorites that I've ever seen. We did our this and that, and we did it before we knew that this thing existed.
Exactly.
Because it's one of my favorite gingerbread creations that I've seen from Disney.
Yeah, in the past, the Contemporary gingerbread house, possibly because of where they assemble it and set it up, it's kind of in the back. You might not actually see it when you're just walking around, even on that 4th level. So it's not in the main lobby. It's on the 4th level, which is the level where you get
where the shops are,
the shops, the monorail, and things like that.
Where Mickey's kitchen is, and everything else.
Yeah. And Chef Mickey.
Mickey.
So, but I don't know if it was because it's been consistent there now a few years and people now are more aware of it, or if it was because they didn't have the gingerbread house at the Grand Floridian. And I know Disney tried to make sure people knew where else to go for gingerbread displays. But like you said, it was hopping day and night, and the line for PhotoPass with that was always long.
Always. That lobby was as hopping as I've ever seen it at any time of year.
Yeah.
There. It was pretty filled.
Right. Now we decided we were going to purchase some things there. And I have to say, looking at what they had to offer, I thought they had a nice variety of things. Considering you're buying these pastries at Walt Disney World, I thought the prices were reasonable for it. I didn't think anything was like, oh my gosh, no way. And one from our observation, the people who are working there, like the cashier, they actually are part of the team that are responsible for putting this together, or for the pastries or whatever. And so it was kind of fun having an opportunity to talk to, I had a fun conversation with the person who was checking out our stuff, purchasing our stuff. And she was just, one, you could tell the pride that they have in what they offer, but she was also just really fun to talk with. We were getting a Bush de Noel, which was small but packed with flavor.
Yeah,
Loved it.
I want to say it's about 4 inches long.
Yeah,
It's not super long.
right.
But man, you're right. Packed with flavor.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And it was delicious. And she and I were talking about the show, The Great British
Baking show,
Show. And
which we've recently been the last people to fall in love with that show.
I know. But she and I were talking about like how would they judge their Bush de Noel, with the sponge and the swirl and everything like that, crack up. But yeah, I thought it was fun because, like I said, you could tell the joy and pride this person had. She's just selling something to me, but you could tell she was connected with this, and she felt that connection, and it was fun to be a part of that.
Yeah. So you love the Bouche de Noël.
Loved the Bush de Noel. Wish we had gotten more. Had thought we were going to go, but Scott and I were planning to go back yesterday, but plans changed. But yeah,
It was very good. It was very good.
really
One of our favorite
delicious.
things we picked up, dessert wise, during this trip.
Right. I mean, if again, it was small, but we felt like just having a small piece, a couple bites, was a nice.
Yes, it's rich, so you do
Yes.
not need to eat the whole thing at
No.
once. I mean, you can
Yeah.
absolutely, nothing wrong with that for sure. But we found that we could just take slices off of it. and
Right.
It held together well enough that you could do it almost as like mini cookies.
Right. And the chocolate on it was so delicious too. The topping of it. It was, and it was cute. It was really
Yeah,
cute.
very, very festive, very
Mhm.
seasonal
Yep.
for sure.
Yeah, definitely that was a winner for me.
Mhm.
We didn't get other cookies and things because we knew we were going to be doing the cookie stroll. So this was something that we felt was more unique there. But the other thing we noticed was, and we didn't take advantage of this because we were going into the park, but on Sunday, they were going to have some of the pastry chef creators of
Mhm.
the display there for a part of the morning to talk to people or, answer questions or whatever. So I thought that was a really nice touch.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was super impressed. And I'm
Mhm.
usually not impressed with the contemporaries gingerbread. I mean, I
Mhm.
like it. I'm not trying to downsell and say it's terrible. It just has never been one of the ones that I'm like, oh, I have to go out of my way to see the contemporary gingerbread. If they continue this up, it's going to be one of those that you have to go out of your way to visit for sure.
Right. I get why they have to put it there, but because of its popularity, if that continues, then maybe they do need to look at another location because it does make the flow really difficult.
Yeah.
Like for people going to and from Bay Lake Tower, or even in and out of the shops, you were always kind of struggling where
Right.
some of the line was for.
I just don't know
Photo op.
where they can place
Yeah.
it there because they're just limited that the space of that lobby
Mhm.
between having the monorail station there and then having the shops and having Chef Mickey's there and having the Outer Limits bar.
Right.
And I mean, it's there isn't a lot of space
Yeah,
there to
that's
work
true.
with,
That is real
like some of
true.
the lobbies like
Yeah.
Wilderness Lodge or the Grand
Right,
Floridian
yeah.
or even the Beach Club or where you
True.
can fit more things. So they're kind of limited in what they can do. This is the first time they've had the first time that in my knowledge
Right.
that they've had something so ornate there that people have literally wanted to stop and make sure and get pictures with.
Yeah. And, I mean, and it makes sense being on that level because, again, that's where people are coming, off the monorail. They can be on that level. Not as many people go through the lobby. Even if you're staying there, you rarely go actually through the lobby.
Mhm.
So I get it. It's just,
Yeah. Yeah. And it was busy. It was very busy,
Mhm.
especially that day. That way was extremely busy. And that's what we found. We went up to our room, as we mentioned, took a little time off, relaxed for a little bit. And we did a 1-bedroom suite because we like to do that with one. We're blessed to have enough DVC points that we can do that occasionally. But also when Scott's with us, it gives us a little more space for the
Right.
three of us because we do spend a little more time in the room
right.
when he's with us. It's just the way it works
Couple
out.
TVs for variety of
Right,
watching.
exactly. Exactly. Speaking of the TVs, I'm glad you brought up the TVs because we had mentioned that since they've done the refurbishments at the Bay Lake Towers, that the television situation was still the same as before, where they had the kind of the old school Disney TVs where they had these scroll. You didn't have the guide where you could pick things. It wasn't easy to stream things on there. They didn't have where you could access Disney Plus
Mhm.
on it. Well, that's been updated, at least in the room that we stayed in. I can't say for every room because it wasn't the last time we were there a couple months ago.
Right.
But this time the TV was updated. It was the new version of the TV. So for better or for worse, depending on what you liked for your TVs.
Yeah.
I know Michelle liked to have, because Scott loves those safety videos.
Yeah, they used to
put
go
those
on
at night. Yeah,
loop.
for him. So for better or worse, but I was happy to see that those televisions were updated.
Yeah, and it is nice to have that ease of, if you're already subscribed to Disney Plus, to access that through that TV. It was super simple.
And we were able to stream a couple other things that we wanted to watch while we were there too. So we kept taking peeks down because we were thinking about, do we want to take a boat over to either Fort Wilderness or the Wilderness Lodge? Because, after 3 p.m., they have the boat that runs between those 3 resorts and the Contemporary. And we looked down there and the line was down almost the entire pier for much of the day. And every boat was packed. Like everybody was resort hopping on these boats.
I think that, our recent episode where we talked about resort hopping,
that's it.
People listened and followed our suggestions, and bravo.
Yes. Thank you, everybody. Although, maybe we're not going to do that today. Because we didn't want to wait down there forever. And I think Scott didn't sleep really well. He was a little worn out. So we just let's take it easy. But the good thing about it, I remember I mentioned how we brought so much stuff. Well, Michelle brought some stuff to make some yummy, yummy cocktails. He made some espresso martinis that were phenomenal, delicious. So we sat back and just kind of enjoyed the holiday spirit in our room, watching some festive shows and enjoying a little festive cocktail.
Yeah, thanks. Well, and you also have all the conveniences of a full kitchen and all the cooking wares that you need. So we had dinner in there. It was easy to do that. And
we had the Bush and Noel for dessert.
Yes, yeah. So no, it was a really fun way to just enjoy that room and make it still feel very special and festive.
Yeah, I think you went out, did a little monorail journey.
Yeah, Scott and I. Yeah, that was an amazing experience. It was fun. Scott's favorite attraction of all times at Walt Disney World is the monorail. And
always, forever. He's very easy.
Yes. And, I get it. He's there. He's like, why wouldn't we go on the monorail? We're right here, and we could see it from our room, from our windows and stuff. So, we went on our loop around the different resorts. And I have to say, just as you mentioned about the boat ramp being full, well, the queues for the monorail were packed also. I've never had it where you had to walk so far down when you first get off the escalator to get into the queue. We actually it was so packed, we had to wait for a second monorail to come. It was standing room only on these monorails. But I have to say, the cast members were amazing. I mean, as much as it was crowded and, it was just people fighting for a spot, they were fine and they were happy and interacting positively with the crowd. I thought it was great. I could see in a lot of other industries that wouldn't have been that way, but this was just the whole vibe was very exciting. Everybody was thrilled, and you could tell that it wasn't a day where they were having the party over at the Magic Kingdom. So this was just people going to the different resorts, because in fact, when we made the stop at Magic Kingdom, very few people got off, even though that park was open, in the evening. It was just people trying to check out the different resorts. And again, I think that some of that was also, like you said, driven by that was the last full weekend for people who have most of the annual passes that include weekends. It was also, I think, with the Grand Floridian, a lot of people wanting to check out Grand Floridian. And I think because they didn't have the gingerbread house and Contemporary did, I think there were a lot of people trying to get over to the Contemporary. So every resort, it was always a bunch of people on, a bunch of people off, and it just kept moving. And it was really, really amazing. To me, think of when the park is closing and how many people you're trying to get into the monorail, it was like that. It
Wow.
was
That's
insane.
pretty crazy.
Yeah,
That's
but it
pretty
was,
crazy.
you
But I'm
know,
glad you still had a good time with it. I
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
And of
yeah.
course, the cast members always magical. They make the magic. They're fantastic.
Right. So we made a decision. I guess I made the decision, but I think Scott was fine with it of not necessarily getting off at other resorts like we typically do, because we just knew it was going to be, or I knew it was going to be another, getting back on was going to be another challenge again, because every station, as I said, was so crowded that you probably weren't going to get on the first one when you got out unless you
Busy,
timed it perfectly.
busy everywhere. It
Yeah,
was pretty
yeah.
crazy on that Saturday. So, yeah. So you got back. We kind of relaxed for the evening. Called it a night. Said we're good. Woke up the next day, and one of the best things about waking up at Bay Lake Towers is the view out to Bay Lake itself in the mornings, with the sun's rising and the boats are getting into their positions, and it's just one of our favorite things in the world. We went out and had a cup of coffee on the porch, on
Balcony.
our deck, our patio, and just enjoyed our balcony. Yeah.
Yeah, it's, the fact that when you get up early enough, you can really have and appreciate the serenity there of, wow, this is so peaceful, and knowing that in a short time it's going to be hustle and bustle,
Yeah.
but just for that early morning, it is just so amazing and beautiful, and just really a nice place to go sit and reflect and just
Mhm.
feel like, oh wow, definitely in a special place, and really appreciating it. Like you said, the sun rising, and you're feeling you're in the, the a magical place.
Right. And we love the lake view. It's not called the lake view anymore.
It's preferred view.
Preferred view.
Mhm.
We love that over the theme park view. I mean, nothing wrong with the theme park view. It's great. You get the fireworks and everything. It's amazing. But if we were to pick, it's fewer points. But also there's just something calming and relaxing about it. And we love that. So
Right,
that's why
right.
we will usually pick that if we have that chance. So yeah, then we got up and we got moving, and it was time for more holiday fun out to EPCOT for the festival, the holidays. Now we got in relatively early, and Michelle decided to beeline over to the Regal Eagle just to see about if she could secure a candlelight processional dining package for that night. We weren't sure. It was Henry Winkler night, his first night doing it. He's very popular. We thought it might be very busy. But Michelle beeline there just to see anyway. Michelle, how did that go for you?
Yeah, I mean, considering the time that it wasn't like rope drop that I got there, I was amazed that we still had an opportunity to get passes to it. There were people in front of me, and then some people came after me. But I was actually expecting when I got there that it was going to be a tremendous line, and it was going to be like no way. Now we wanted the early pass, and we thought it would probably be, for what we were doing, it wouldn't probably suit us to go to any of the later ones. The 5 p.m. one was already sold out, that they had given out all the passes for that. But we could have gone to either the 6:45 or the 8, I think 8:15
15, I
or
want to
something
say.
like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, something like that. We could have gotten to either of those. So it made me feel good that that was a potential. Now, some things to keep in mind is when you get there and it's before the restaurant opens, they will give you these laminated cards that have the time of the that you would get your pass, but they explain to you it's not your ticket and you can't leave. You have to stay in line. At least one person from your party has to be in that line until the restaurant opens. So we were there like around
I think it was like
10.
10 to 10:15, somewhere
Yeah.
around that period. Yeah.
And they said the restaurant technically doesn't open till 11:45. They were expecting to, because there was a line there, they would open it early. They said they were going to try to get us in at 11:30. You do have to get your meal at that time. It's not like you're just getting your tickets and you can get food whenever. You do have to get, because that is the dining package. You get your food and your ticket at that same time. So we talked about it and we realized, yeah, we didn't think coming back at 6:45 was going to fit into what our schedule was and everything. Maybe if we were staying at a different resort, one that was closer to EPCOT or that was maybe on the skyline, we might have considered that. But
That, and it was more waiting there,
Yeah.
and like you said, getting the food at that moment,
Mhm.
and then we were just trying to figure out Scott's fatigue level,
Right.
where he was going to stand with this whole thing, and my fatigue level, because I'm always tired, where I was going to be with it all, and we just decided. And also, Scott is, while he loves the candlelight processional, he is also very on edge about going to some things like that.
Mhm.
So what would his acceptance be of it? So we weighed everything, and I think we came to the right conclusion there.
Yeah, that we felt like, all right, it's just too many ifs for us at that time. So and this way we knew we were giving tickets that somebody else really wanted. So we were able to, turn those back in and let some people behind us get that opportunity. But
Right.
again, if you're ever interested, I wouldn't say get there late. I wouldn't have gotten there after, like 10:30. I think that would have been the
A cutoff for sure.
yeah,
I
I
think
don't
so.
yeah, because it's also misleading when you get in line, like, even for our case, I beelined it, so I was the only one there, but, so if somebody was getting in behind me, they might think, "Oh, one person," but I was getting 3 tickets, so, that's something to consider. If you really wanna do it, you need to get there, probably when rope drop is,
Mhm.
that way you can kinda be certain of
Be
it.
sure, especially if it's somebody who's super popular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said, the fact that, I got there at like 10:15 and there was some availability was surprising.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's not, I mean, it's a pretty good
and a
price. It's
weekday,
like
I mean, weekend,
$35 per guest, I believe, for the, or something
something
along
like
those
that. Yeah,
lines.
40, I think it's like 40.
Is it 40? Yeah. Don't quote me on the
Yeah,
price.
yeah, it's the least expensive one, but it's also the one you don't know if you're gonna get till
Right.
that day.
Right.
So,
But yeah, very cool. So yeah, we could have did it, but we just decided, not everything worked out well. But
right.
glad you tried. Meanwhile, Scott and myself leisurely strolled out to the American Adventure where Michelle had beeline to, and we were taking pictures along the way. One of my favorites, for those of you on YouTube, was going by and just seeing the Figment statue
Mhm.
there. And it's always fun to see the Figment statue, but they did something simple and just put like a little tower of poinsettias behind it. And suddenly Figment is so festive.
I know.
I loved it. I loved it so much. I was like, it's something simple.
Right.
And, they didn't do anything with Figment
Yeah.
themselves. I mean, of course, you have festive Figment inside Journey into Imagination,
Mhm.
where he's wearing his festive holiday sweater. But this was something that was just suddenly so festive. And all they did was just put some poinsettias near him.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. So check that out. And then we decided, okay, we're already at the American Adventure. It's about to open up. We kind of hung out a little bit, and then we hit the food at because one of our favorite spots that we like during the festival, the holidays, is the American Ventures. The American Holiday Table is what they call that marketplace kitchen. The holiday kitchen, I guess, is what it's called. And their food there has been actually really, really good over several years. And people sometimes pass it up and they don't think, like, oh, it's American food, whatever.
Mhm.
No, it's been really, really good. And this year was no different. We got the slow roasted turkey with stuffing, mashed potatoes, green beans, and cranberry sauce, the blackened catfish with Hoppin' John and comeback sauce, the chocolate cookie featuring Snickers bar pieces and salted caramel. And also, we need to get a beer because you know us. We got the Victory Brewing Company chocolate cherry stout. Michelle, what did you think about all the food from the American Holiday Table?
Well, I thought all of it was a hit for sure. The main menu items were the same as last year, but that's okay. When you have something that works, don't break it, right? And so we really enjoyed it. I think the fish for us was better than the turkey. If and we did have the opportunity to buy again, some food again. So we ended up getting more of the fish. But the turkey was very good too. If you like turkey, this was very much a traditional holiday kind of meal where they had, like you said, the potatoes, gravy, stuffing, turkey, a little bit of cranberry sauce. Probably, I think you had pointed out, could need a little bit more cranberry sauce.
Yeah, but that's me. I mean, not everybody loves cranberry sauce, so I get why they maybe limit that a little bit. I like a little more cranberry sauce in there,
Right.
kind of that balance between the some of the savory and then a little sweet and tart added to it. So that's just kind of why I enjoy it.
Right,
But
and the green beans were
yeah,
good. Yeah.
it was good. The turkey was good, but man, that catfish is so good. It's so flavorful and wonderful, and it's got the creamy sauce on there, a little bit of spice. but not overwhelming
Right.
spice. Really, really good. And Hardy Scott loved it too.
Mhm.
He was gobbling it down. They did have that chocolate cookie I talked about. Now in the past, they've had one of our favorite cookies there, which is the Snickers Doodle cookie, which is a little cinnamony. It is that little Snickers in there. You know, it's a little chocolatey, a little cinnamony. It's really, really good. So I was a little concerned when they changed the cookie this year. But that cookie is really, really good. It's a really good chocolate cookie with the Snickers pieces and then the salted caramel. It all works. It's one of our favorite cookies, I think. I don't know if you'd agree with that, Michelle.
Absolutely, yeah. And I was going to say with the cookie stroll, we found that we tried several different things, but there were two big winners, and this was one of them. It was really delicious. Like you said, we were concerned, like, oh, we're not going to get our Snickers Doodle uh, cookie, but this was. I'm a chocolate fan, so I actually kind of like this a little bit
You
better.
like it a little
even.
more. I like the cinnamony one a little bit more still, but this was not a bad replacement. I enjoyed
Right.
it just
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it had I felt like it was a generous serving of the Snickers pieces on top
Yeah.
and as well as like you said the salted caramel. It just all was so luscious.
And we ran into a couple people that said that that was their favorite cookie
Right,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
From the cookie stroll.
Yes.
That is definitely a part of the cookie stroll. We also did get that chocolate cherry
Mhm.
stout. What did you think about that?
I thought it was good. I thought it was very good. I would still put one other above that, and it's
We'll get to it in
Yeah.
a second.
But I actually thought it was tasty.
Mhm.
It was a nice, rich flavor, which is why I like the stouts usually. So, what did you think?
I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought it really worked with the dishes that were there.
Mhm.
The chocolate comes through. Light hint of cherry came through on it. I really enjoyed it. It was one of my favorite beers that we tried.
Cool.
So from there, we went to one of our other favorite kitchens, which is L'Chaim, one of our favorite, the Chaim Holiday Kitchen. And of course, we had to get the smoked salmon, potato latke, and we had to get them for all three of us because Scott loves it as well. And we weren't splitting one.
Right.
We were definitely going to have one each. So we got three of those. And then we tried a couple of the cookies there. We tried the rugelach, which is a pastry with raspberry jam, walnuts, and cinnamon, and the Mickey shaped almond black and white cookie. We also got another stout there. We got the Brooklyn Brewery black chocolate stout there. Michelle, what did you think about all these dishes? Everybody knows we love the smoked salmon potato latke.
Yeah.
Like that's an easy sell for us. That's like our favorite dish.
Right.
Or at least one of our favorite dishes from the Festival of the Holidays. What about the others?
Well, again, yeah, I can't emphasize enough how delicious that salmon latke is, smoked salmon latke is. So the black and white almond Mickey shaped cookie was the other big winner that I would say from the cookie stroll. That was delicious. You really could taste the almond in it. It was really nice, and I really sometimes with the black and white cookies, I don't always notice a big difference in the chocolate versus the white chocolate. But this you could really distinguish. Both sides had a really nice flavor. It was so delicious. Loved it. The arugula was good. I wouldn't say it's the best arugula I've ever had, but I was glad to have tried it. I think it had all the components that you would expect in it, so it was tasty.
It was good. It was okay. I enjoyed it okay. I did run into a problem where a couple of the walnuts, they were like, I don't know what they did, if they over candied them or something, but they were like super hard. Like I had to take them out of my mouth because I was going to break a tooth or something on them. But other than that, it was okay. But man, that black and white cookie, anything almond for me, I'm on board with. I love the flavor of almond. I love that cookie. That is a really, really good cookie. What about the black chocolate stout, Michelle?
That was delicious. Yeah,
that's the beer you liked more.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I like that one more. I would put that one at a higher level than that. I really enjoyed it, and I thought it paired well nicely as well. And so I was glad that we did try that one.
Yeah. I liked it. I think I like that one just a little bit more. It's really close between the two of those two beers that we just talked about, on which one I liked better than the other one, but probably that one just slightly more, is a little more smooth. Chocolate does come through, and I did enjoy it. So yeah, That was a great meal.
Yeah, I was excited that we were able to take that food. We found a nice table
Mhm.
over at the France Pavilion there, kind of in the back of the
It's our little hidden,
right,
not so hidden, sort of hidden
right.
area. Yeah.
Over like if you're heading back towards where the attraction, the Remy attraction is, you and one of the things it was great to see is they've put more tables and chairs out in that area so that whether you're getting food from the France Pavilion or whatever, there's more seating areas. So I was really happy to see that.
Yeah, I think they've figured out between all the festival food and La Halle and the
Mhm.
creperie
Right,
that maybe they need some more since there's a window for the creperie.
right,
Maybe they need, and that's not an easy thing to just eat on the move.
right.
Like maybe they need a little more seating, and they have developed added some more seating there, which is really nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
And it's exciting to see the creperie doing so well. I mean, there's always a line there, even during this festival. I don't know if you noticed, but I was like, wow, there's
Mhm,
festival food here, but the creperie is really hopping at their to go window.
mhm.
So,
So, yeah, so it all worked out really well.
mhm.
We did hit one more food stop. We were starting to get a bit full, but we noticed the line at Mexico was actually relatively small, which is especially later in the day,
Mhm.
pretty surprising. So we're like, okay, well, let's go hit up the Las Posadas holiday kitchen. There we got the tostada de carne, which is braised beef tips, slowly cooked Mexican style, atop fried corn tortilla with black beans, crispy onions, and queso
Mhm.
fresco. And then the tamal de pollo con mole, which has shredded chicken and mole in corn masa, topped with mole negro, queso fresco, crema mexicana, slivered almonds, and sesame seeds. Michelle, what did you think about those two dishes?
I thought both of them were good. I enjoyed both of them. I can't say it's the best festival food I've had from the Mexican Pavilion, but as we've said in a lot of episodes, when you're talking the festival foods, especially, is you can have a day where one dish might be better than another day, or the opposite. So I maybe that was the case here that it wasn't the best day for at that moment to try it. But I did think they had a lot of great flavors
Mhm.
and textures, and it was tasty
Yeah.
for sure.
The tostada was okay. The tortilla was crisp, which I
Mhm,
really liked. And the beef was good, a little on the salty side,
mhm, mhm,
but it was okay. The tamal was very good. The
mhm,
tamale
mhm.
was very good. Enjoyed that. I thought the masa wasn't too dense.
Right.
It was good. A little bit of sweetness in it, along with the savory part of it. I think the tamal was pretty good.
Yeah, that was definitely more of a hit.
Yeah.
But again, like you said, the tostada was just a little salty for me. But again, it could have just been that serving at that
Mhm.
time. And you
Which
could go
happens.
back 5 minutes later and get another batch, and that might not be the situation. So I don't want to judge it as bad. It had a lot of great flavors there.
Mhm. Yeah. So, I mean, we enjoyed it. I think we have higher
Yeah,
expectations for the Mexico kitchens for any of these festivals because they usually are home runs. And this was more like a double. I
right,
think it was good. It just wasn't phenomenal. It wasn't
right,
great.
right.
So, we pretty much had our fill of food, but we did decide we needed to stop at the DVC lounge because Scott loves the DV. We love the DVC lounge,
Yes.
but Scott also loves the DVC lounge. So we went up there, enjoyed a little time, laid back, had a couple sodas, enjoyed our time there. Then it was time. Okay. Yes, Michelle.
Well, I wanted to mention before we talk about leaving is some observations. We've mentioned this before. Sometimes weekends at festivals can get really crowded. Sunday wasn't that bad.
Sundays are usually better than
Yeah.
Saturdays. Saturdays tend to be really, really
Especially
packed.
in the morning. Now, so if you're really interested in the festival food, going on and you're doing it on a weekend, Sunday morning, I think you're going to have more opportunities to hit more of the locations and not have these tremendous long queues. What you're not going to experience is a lot of the other festival activities like the performances and stuff because the performers are usually um, more like early afternoon on. So that's one thing that if you're looking for some of the performers, then later in the day is more opportunity for you to do that. So what you could do is go early and hit up all the food and then go back around and enjoy some of the performers if you so choose.
Yeah, walk off all that food and drink that you've had.
Yes,
By
yes.
checking them all. I know you did get to see. I didn't get to see any of the storytellers this year. I know you saw. I think Japan's storyteller.
Yes, yeah. Briefly saw the Japan storyteller. As always, she's great, very vibrant, and just really love hearing the unique cultural experiences or their stories that go along with what they celebrate. But again, I'm always just really impressed with just how much excitement that they bring. And it's great to see a lot of people are appreciating it and joining and listening. And so it was wonderful.
Yeah, it just didn't work. Our timing when we were around different areas. Plus, Scott isn't hugely into that stuff.
Right.
So we decided we just never stuck around and saw that. It just timing was all off.
Well, right. Like I said, in the morning, you don't get a lot of the performers. Like if there's any live bands or whatever, they're going to be in the afternoon and evening, early evening. So that's, except for at the front over by Communicore, then they do have a live band there that starts in the morning. But for World Showcase, most of the live performers that are out there, especially the bands, are later in the either very late morning or early afternoon.
Yeah. Speaking of Communicore Hall, I'm glad you brought that up because we did on our way out make sure and drop by because we needed to see the gingerbread spaceship Earth again. We saw it last year, but we needed to see it again. Still stunning, still beautiful. Love it. I think it's a fantastic addition to Communicore Hall. Love the projections they have there. We did not try the cookies there, but I have heard good things about a couple of the cookies that they have there. But yeah, enjoyable again.
Yeah. It's a really pretty layout and it's a nice place to go in and, have some food. They do have tables and chairs there. Let me tell you, it was a popular place to be for sure. That the amount of people going into there was more than I saw at any of the other queues. So I was happy for them in that.
Yeah. And they have trees and some other things in there. They've done well with the decor.
Yeah.
For sure in there. So we did head our way out. One thing we didn't mention going in is that the monorail wasn't running on the way out there. So we got from the Contemporary to the Ticket and Transportation Center, and they're like, no, I'm sorry, monorail's not running. You have to take a bus. So we hopped on a bus. It was easy. Everybody there was great, phenomenal, no problems. Got to the location, easy peasy, no worries. Did have to go through security again, which was a little bit of a bummer.
Yeah.
But, whatever. It's security. It's not Disneyland security.
Right. Yeah,
it's Walt Disney World security, not
pretty
so tough.
fast.
Right. So did that. But on the way back, we got up to the monorail station and we noticed the monorail's there and it's loaded and it's not moving anywhere. So we're asking what's going on with there. We stayed there for, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. Nothing was moving. You went down and asked about it and they're like, I don't know.
Yeah, what they said was that there was another monorail on the track that was going through some maintenance and it was taking longer than usual and they didn't know what was going to be the next steps. I don't know if we just happened to see a bunch of people start leaving and thought, okay, and we were by at that point we were standing in
they were
space.
starting to empty out the monorail about that time.
It looked like it was coordinated emptying out. So we thought, all right, they're emptying it. And so we kind of followed along with that and they were going to where the buses were. But unfortunately, there are no locations for buses going to where the monorail loop resorts are.
Right. Nothing. Yeah. Because you can take the monorail, so there's nothing going to the Poly, the Grand Floridian, the Contemporary, Ticket and Transportation. There's nothing, or Magic Kingdom. There's none of that going on there. So we were all there, a group of us asked questions. They're like, okay, we've called a bus. It's going to be here in such and such time or whatever. While this is happening, we noticed that the monorail starts moving. It went away. We're like, oh, there it goes. Well, we're here now. Bus will be here soon. But then we saw a monorail coming back. So we're like, okay, do we wait here for 5 more minutes or however long it's going to be for the bus to get here with a vibe that's maybe not the best?
Right.
Or do we beeline it back through security to the monorail? So that's what we did. We boogied back to the monorail, got there.
Poor Scott was just like, what are you people doing? We're standing in front of a monorail. Now we're waiting for a bus. And now you're bringing me back in the park. and we're going to go on to Monorail again. It was hysterical.
And it did take a little bit of time. It still took a little bit of time before they allowed us to load. The monorail was there. We got there. We got a good spot nearby. And then they're like, okay, well, a few more minutes. Eventually, they did open it up. We got on and off we went, and it was all settled. But it was a little craziness for a little bit there. Did our normal monorail stop. Ticket transportation, hopped on the resort monorail, got back to the Contemporary, went back to Bay Lake Towers. Yes, Michelle.
I do want to mention of that situation too is one of the things that was really interesting when we went to try to get a bus. And again, we were thinking it was being unloaded by the Disney cast member that was at the monorail. But apparently that wasn't the case. I don't know if it was just a large group and then everybody thought, oh, okay, we got to get off. But when we got there, there wasn't a cast member around immediately, but I know some people started finding one, and one came over and he said, look, technically the monorail is not closed. We have not been informed that it's closed. So we didn't have a bus here ready for you. But he said, I called one and it'll be here in 5 minutes.
Right.
So I thought they were very responsive, even though it was nothing that they had done to start this.
Yeah, they did their best considering the situation for sure. And by the way, by the time we had left, I looked over to where that spot was, and I think a bus had come for those people because it looked like nobody else was there unless they just followed suit with us and everybody went back, which I don't think is the case.
Yeah, no, I think people were.
It didn't take too much longer for them to be able to get onto the buses and to the destination, to ticket and transportation.
Right. I just thought they were impressively responsive.
Right.
Again, they hadn't closed the monorail, and even the monorail when we went back to the monorail, the cast member working there said, "We've never closed it. We haven't closed this monorail, so I don't know why people went to the bus." But Disney came through and provided a bus for people who got off. So.
Yeah. So that was all good. So we got back to our resort. It was time to kick back for the afternoon for a little bit. Put on a little football.
I was going to say, it was football time.
It was football time. I was able to stream football, which I wasn't sure I'd be able to do there. And I was pretty happy about that. And then after a little bit of time, relaxing, we're like, we need a little bit more holidays. And we noticed that the boat dock, we got to the point where it was 3 p.m. The boats were running between the three resorts, the Fort Wilderness Lodge, and the Contemporary. And while there was a line, it wasn't as crazy as the line was the day before. The boats weren't quite 100% full, pretty full still, but not 100% full, packed and turning people away or making people wait for the next boat. So we were like, okay, let's go ahead and do this, and let's head out to the Wilderness Lodge to go check out some of their decorations. So that's what we did. Boats, always love those boats. My favorite form of transportation. Everybody loves a monorail. Everybody loves a Skyliner. Those little resort boats, my favorite thing in the world. I love them.
Yes.
I love them so much. Got over there, went to the Wilderness Lodge, and of course the decorations, the amazing holiday feel of that lobby always wins. Phenomenal.
Oh yeah, it's spectacular. It really is. Personally, I prefer coming in from the front. I think you get a little bit more of a wow factor there.
I get it.
But it's, you just need to be there for a few minutes and you're just, so immersed into that, ambiance there. It was interesting and in a good way, seeing that over by the fireplace, rather than just having like 2 or 3 rows of rocking chairs facing the fireplace, they had some, but some of them were also facing other directions so that, like people could sit and have a conversation together, not just be in a row where you might be able to only talk to 1 or 2 people next to you. So I thought that was kind of nice that they did that. I don't know if that's all the time or just during the holidays, but I thought that was good.
Well, I know definitely around the fireplace. They have like 2 rows of seats heading towards the fireplace normally. And this time they, as you were mentioning, they turned a few of them around because they know how good that decor is, how good that lobby is at this time of year, and why people are there who aren't necessarily staying there. You want to take in that ambiance. You want to take in that joy. You want to take in that comfort. You want to take in this holiday feeling that's there. And so they turn a lot of those seating. It's just, you can see a lot of people just relaxing, enjoying, taking it all in, just like we did. We didn't sit down, but we did enjoy. Did get some good pictures there, which was Scott, especially with photo. Like we can get a selfie with Scott. And sometimes, like I said, if you can capture him without his hand in front of your face, you can get a good picture. But getting him necessarily in front of a photo pass photographer is very, very hit and miss. But this time he was really, really willing to do it. And we got some great pictures in front of the big tree there.
Right. Yeah. I know he loves this resort as well. And the photo pass there is great. And at all the resorts, I think I've always been really impressed with the photo pass photographers there. One of the nice things that they do at the resorts that you don't really get at the parks is they will take your own phone and take pictures with your phone as well. So it's not just, okay, to do the photo pass and we have to decide if we want
to purchase it or not.
Right.
Or you don't have the already photo pass as part of your ticket or annual pass. Yeah.
But our experience, I can't say this 100%. I'm just saying our experience each time we've seen that they're willing to take your phone and also take pictures where you're standing there that they are at with your own phone. So I think that's really nice that they do that. I mean, they're always really patient with Scott and everything like that. And I love that they have, the magic shots there as well. Like at this resort, they have Chip and Dale, and it just fits so perfectly.
Which, for those of you on YouTube, and I'm sorry for everybody in the podcast, but you're going to have to, we'll post this at some point. You have to see this shot because it's actually one of my favorite actual magic shots we ever got, with Scott involved in it as well, with Chip and Dale there. It worked out perfectly.
Yes.
It's one of my favorite pictures. I love it so much. It's phenomenal. And yeah, that's a magic shot that you can get there. And yes, Chip and Dale front and center,
right,
as part of it.
Yeah.
But after a few pictures, well, Scott, he'd had about enough of the pictures and us, I think, in that moment. Not really, but I mean, you can just tell. He's like, okay, and I got to do this. Now I got to do that. Okay, I've done 2-3 things. I need to hold up this sign that says joy as well.
Yeah, he was like, at that point, it's so funny because it's holding the sign joy, but he kind of looks a little bah humbug.
He's the face of joy. Right?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. For those of you on YouTube, you can see that for sure. I had to post it because I think it's cute as well.
Hilarious. Yeah, really fun.
But but just absolutely love the Wilderness Lodge. Again, makes the holidays for me to go in there, and I'm so glad we got that opportunity. I'm glad the boats weren't so packed on Sunday that we were able to get over there.
Yeah, it's always fun going through their storefront as well. They have a lot of fun things there, a lot of convenient things there. You pointed out, what surprised me and it cracked me up, was that they sell Lincoln log sets there.
I hadn't seen Lincoln logs where you can purchase them in a long time, and they have them there in one of their gift shops.
Yeah, so, that was so fun.
Really funny. But and they also have some of the sweet treats there, a little bit, mostly the same as what you saw at the Contemporary, but a few items that were different over there that you could purchase as well if you want to just kind of relax with a snack or take it back to your room or anything while you're there.
Right. Yeah. They had an area where they were selling those. It didn't have the gingerbread display, but they had, like you said, all those cookies and treats and
cocoa and all sorts of fun stuff.
Right, exactly.
So hopped the boat back, went back to our room. Good, we got our holiday fill in. Let's relax, have a little dinner, enjoy the evening, and that's what we did. Called it a night, because we have Monday to still, luckily for us, to go back to the Walt Disney World Resort. So that's what we did. Slept the night, woke up again. Wonderful view at Bay Lake Towers. Packed up our stuff. Still plenty of stuff, even though we had used up a lot of it. Packed up our stuff, and then we headed back to EPCOT for one last Festival of the Holidays trip. More than anything else, we needed to pick up more cookies because we needed to finish the cookie stroll. Maybe finish the cookie stroll twice.
Right.
We did finish twice. But we did stop and we did pick up a new beer that we hadn't tried yet. We went by the refreshment outpost, which is kind of that African area where the drums are for the kids to play on and everything. And we picked up the Crooked Can Brewing Company Chocolate Mint Cookie Stout. Michelle, what did you think of that stout?
Okay, a couple things. First of all, I want to point out that what's great is that booth. It's not a booth. It's where they normally have, food and beverages there.
They always have something holiday there.
Right. In the festivals, they always have something, but that's open, when the park opens, whereas the other festival booths don't open until I think it's 11 o'clock. So this was really the only place you could try something festival wise in World Showcase that was open.
It's like 10:30. We need a beer. I mean, come on.
I know. Now the one thing too is they don't have the option of getting smaller portions. Like all the other beers that we tried, we got the 6-ounce versus the 9 ounce. This
So
was
we
a
can try more.
right. Yeah, so we could try more of them and not just be wasted. And we shared. We never got our own beer, so
Not this
moderation.
time.
Moderation, yes. But this one was a full it wasn't in a can because I asked them that. I
It's a
said,
full like pint
yeah,
cup. Yeah.
yeah. Was it that big?
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
about the size of a pint. Yeah.
Okay. So anyways, when I first tasted it, I thought it was okay. But as we went along and the more and more I started getting acclimated to the taste, I really liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
It
was
grew on me.
It was a little edgy on the more bitter
Bitter.
side.
Mhm.
So if you like more bitter, then this is the beer for you. It wasn't, yeah, like you said, you needed to kind of get the taste buds acclimated with it when we got some food as well to go
Mhm.
along with it. I think that helped bring it out too. Enjoyed it. Of the 3 beers that we tried, it was my least favorite of
Mhm,
the 3, but I still, like I said, I enjoyed it more and more the more I had of it.
Yeah, my first taste, I was very disappointed. I'll have to admit that. And I was like, oh, I wish I hadn't gotten this. One, we had to get the whole full glass. So it was a lot if we were going to waste it. Plus, it was more expensive because it was a full glass. But like I said, as the time wore on and taking more and more sips of it, I was like, no, I really can like and appreciate this. This would be a nice sit down and savor beer,
Mhm.
But like you said, I think having food to accompany it also was helpful and would recommend that.
Yeah, so we did get some food. We did want to go back to the American holiday table. Got that blackened catfish
Mhm.
again because Scott loved it. We loved it. So we had to get that again. Plus, we were picking up more of the chocolate cookies that we love. We were going to take some home with us, finish the cookie stroll twice,
Right.
finish the cookie stroll, and bring those home with us.
Right. And one thing, I know we've mentioned this in the past, and some people may or may not know this, but with the cookie stroll that you're trying to purchase 5 cookies to get something extra, it doesn't have to be 5 different cookies. It can be, but you could get 5 of the same or do like we did with some of them and get 3 and 2 or whatever you want. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to try 5 different cookies in the
Right.
cookie stroll.
So that's what we did. We got some of the chocolate cookies and we picked up more. See for those on YouTube, 3 more of the black and white almond Mickey shaped cookies from L'Chaim. We picked up those as well. And that completed with the cookies we had purchased earlier. And then these are 2 cookie strolls.
Yes.
So then we went over to holiday sweets and treats. And when you get all your stamps in your booklet, you go over there and you pick up your little gift. Michelle, you wanted to tell everybody what the gift is this year and if it's a spoiler alert,
Move forward a couple seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's cute. This year they gave a little spatula that has the logo of the holiday of the festivals on it. It also has a card that gives the recipe for peanut butter cookies with the M&M treats on it with mini M&Ms.
They give you
they give you
right.
a tube of mini M&Ms so you can make your own batch of those cookies. So I thought that was really cute to get that, and I thought it was a really decent, reward. I mean, you're already buying these cookies, and it's a nice spatula.
Yeah, it's one that you're going to use anyway,
Right.
especially to make these cookies. We have a lot of these and we love them, and these are very festive Mickey spatulas.
Right.
So yeah, we were really, really happy to get those.
Yeah. And it was funny because as we were turning in our thing, and we mentioned, I don't know how we were talking about getting multiples of cookies to bring home. And there was a couple next to us, and the woman said yes. And she showed her backpack was full of cookies because she said some of her family members who were supposed to accompany them on the trip couldn't make it. So they were bringing some holiday treats back to them. So it was funny, but it was like a packed full of cookies. It was hilarious.
Right. And that's all. You can pick that up at Holiday Sweets and Treats, but that's not the only thing we picked up at Holiday Sweets and Treats. We also, Michelle and Scott also got the Festive Flight featuring the hot cocoa by Joffrey's, which had a Christmas sugar cookie hot cocoa topped with whipped cream and sprinkles, a gingerbread hot cocoa topped with whipped cream and gingerbread garnish, and the cookie butter hot cocoa topped with whipped cream and speculoos spice. Michelle, I did not sample these, but I know you and Scott did. Scott had it all over his face, which was adorable. What did you think about the hot cocos?
Well, they were awesome. I have to say, I was really pleased. They were so flavorful. I was wondering if they were going to be kind of like just the flavor of hot cocoa that you get with packets or whatever. But no, these really had a lot of great, nice flavors. Personally, I didn't need the whipped cream. If I was going to order it again, I would have ordered it without the
I know
whipped
you
cream.
scraped off some off of the one you drank.
Yeah, but I wanted to see what it looked like and get a pic so we could get a picture too of it to get what it was supposed to look like. But they were delicious. I mean, they were cute. They were delicious. We devoured them. I would have, if we were going to stay longer, I probably would have said, yeah, let's get another batch because Scott and I had shared them. They're kind of small cups, but definitely worth it. Loved them.
Yeah,
I was really pleased.
I'm not as much of a cocoa person. That's why I didn't partake in it. Plus, it allowed you both to have more of it. But that's why. But I was happy to see that you both enjoyed it and that they were very good. You thought they were fantastic.
Right. They were non-alcoholic.
Right.
So
well, that's probably why I didn't have any. It was a little bit cooler day, so it worked better. Like the day before, we were there on Sunday. It was in the upper 70s, so a little warmer.
Right.
You still could have drank the cocoa, but maybe it didn't fit quite as well. But today it was perfect.
Yeah, it was great. And I was, like I said, I was really pleased with just how flavorful they were. And I thought they did a great job with that.
Nice. So yeah, that was pretty much it. We did go visit the DVC lounge again because Scott wouldn't let us leave without visiting the DVC lounge one more time.
EPCOT's one of those places I've mentioned before. Like any other place you can go and you're talking to Scott and you say you want to go home, he'll say yes immediately. Not EPCOT. EPCOT, once he's there, he usually does not want to leave. It's kind of, we have to all right, we got to entice you to leave because you just want to stay.
Yeah. But overall, again, laid back. We didn't do everything. We didn't visit all the parks as much as we may have liked to, but overall, I think we had a pretty magical holiday, long weekend visit to the Walt Disney World Resort, Michelle.
Absolutely. I think having the 2 nights, 3 days really allowed us to try multiple things. And again, the goal isn't to try everything. It's to try what you enjoy. But also to have that downtime to just appreciate being together. And I think we did that well. I think sitting in the resort together and just hanging out, whether we're having our espresso martinis or just we had some cheese and crackers in the room at one point. It gave us time, the three of us, to just relax and enjoy, but still feel like you're in such a special place.
Yeah, still have that holiday vibe going on for sure. So enjoyed it. Yeah, would have liked to get on to Disney Hollywood Studios, check out their decor. Would have liked to see the Merry Menagerie at Animal Kingdom. Couldn't do everything, but what we did, I think, was really, really fun and amazing and very, very enjoyable. Anything else you want to say before we cut out here?
Not that I can think of. Let me check my notes of what I want to make sure we talked about. No, I think that was about it.
Good, because we went long. Yeah. That was, for such a relatively short weekend.
I know.
That was a long look back at our visit to Walt Disney World for holiday season.